Okay. Effects of governance. Uh, Dissatisfied and unhappy employees will not be able to perform to the best of his ability. His mind will be equipped with the things that are both his. Bothering him, which leads to lack of focus on his current job in hand. It leads to drop in productivity and effective of the employees and the organizations on a whole. Below are some of the effects of employees' grievance. First one is demoted staff, low productivity, labor unrest, absenteeism, and a high rate of attrition, straight, and the superior subordinate relationship reduce employees' moral and commitment. Opportunity for the workers to experience their dissatisfactions. Increase in waste and cost. Next point is elements required for an effective grievance handling. Acknowledging grievance. Any kind of disconnect or dissatisfaction, whether expressed or not, whether believed or not, should be entered by the peers and managers. There should be free flow of communications, and the employees should feel free to express whatever in troubling them. Acknowledgement of their problems instills confidence in them that they are in safe hands and their problems will be resolved. Second, quick actions as well, all non-just delay, injustice, delaying revenue should be settled at the lowest rate. It will ensure the worker that management is listening to them and trying to solve their problems. Revenue producer must aim at speedily settlement of revenues. Third, clarity. The producer should be clear and simple enough to be understood by each and every employees. Uh, Adherence to prevailing law, the governance producer should be and in the compliance with the exiting law. In other words, the exiting governance machinery as provided by law should be strictly followed. Public governance handling training to be imparted to the supervisor and union representatives. Training should be imparted to the supervisor and union representatives because they are the one who guide, supervise, or spend more time with workers at the workplace. So, if any graviness arise, it will instantly come to their knowledge. It is the most effective if the graviness are resolved at that stage itself. There will be no need of taking it further to the next level. Next, executing and the review. A regular follow-up of the system increase the faith of the people in the system. The HR department should periodically review the graviness process of an organization and make the necessary change whenever required. Next point is steps in graviness handling. Graviness handling, first step is observations. Observations means though the observations as manager, supervisor can easily track the behavior of people working under him. He can easily find out the unusual behavior and prepare report accordingly. Second, opinion survey. Periodically interviews, groups, meeting, collective bargaining sessions, etc. with the workers also helpful in knowing employees discipline before it becomes a graviness. Third, gift box. It is a box in which employees can drop their complaints. Employees do not have to disclose their identity while explain their feeling of unjust or disconnect. Exit interviews. Employees usually leave their current job due to dissatisfactions regarding some areas at work. Exit interviews connected properly can provide important information about employees' gravities. For the open door policy, uh, this policy is useful in keeping touch with the employees. Filling ads, some organizations extend generally invitations to their employees to talk over their graviness in managers' roles. Next, gathering facts and data. The next step is to collect facts and data about the graviness from all the parties. Everyone opinion should be given equal importance and no fact should be neglected or ignored. Analysis of the graviness. The problem should be analysis on the basis of the facts and data received after taking into considerations the economic, social, psychological, and legal issue involved in the deriving solutions. After analysis of the facts and data, different alternative solutions for problems should be discussed and the best solution should be selected. Redressal, the graviness should be redressed by properly putting into actions the best solution selected. The employee should be relieved of the strain and the disconnect as soon as possible. And last one, executive and follow up. The next point, benefits of graviness handling. First benefit is graviness handling, award distributes. Next, opportunity for the workers to express their dissatisfactions. It provides the workers an opportunity to express their fears, antics, and dissatisfactions in brings awareness to the open and to the knowledge of the managers so that they can take a step to resolve it, boost moral and emotional security. It provides employees a platform where they can formally release their emotional stress and dissatisfaction, which thus builds within him a sense of emotional security in his commitment of the staff. When the employee is feeling emotionally secure that their problem and graviness are being attended to and resolved promptly, they feel a sense of commitment to the organizations. They drive to perform to the best of their ability increase and they become more loyal towards the organizations. Next, helps maintain corridor relationship. Knowledge. Acknowledgements of employees' grievance by the managers and retrieval of the same as soon as possible promotes a health relationship between the subordinate and the superior. The subordinate feels carried for it. A return would follow the instructions of the superior with greater recognition, improve staff productivity. When an employee's governance is attended to and account actions is taken to reduce it, it boosts the employee's moral, motivates him to maximize his protection and work with full dedications and commitment. Next, industry distributes. Industry distributes means when there is a disagreement in an industrial relations, it leads to industrial disputes. Disputes are very common in industries. They appear in the form of leaks, lockouts, mines, etc. Industrial dispute has been defined as any dispute to defense arising between employers and workmen, or between workmen and workmen, or between employer and employer, which is connected with the employment or non-employment on the terms of employment or the conditions of labor of any persons. Other reasons for this disputes can be wage or salaries demand, unilaterally political interference, unfair labor practices, etc. Next, Indian industry governance managements. The Indian Employment Act 1946. The Act is a generous committee legislations which aims to provide protections of labor by providing stable and uniform conditions of employment that distribute the employees of certain industrial establishments to clear, define with sufficient care the conditions of employment. For example, service rule and make them known to workmen employees by them. This act requires the employees to define the conditions of service in their establishments and to produce them in writing and to get them compulsory certified with few avoid unnecessary industry disputes. The main objective of the act are: first objective is to define principal conditions of employment in the state establishments with sufficient care, and to make the said conditions known to workmen employees by them. Second, a standard code of conduct for both employers and employees should be made so that career relations can be established between them. Third, to maintain proper discipline, healthy working conditions, higher productivity, etc., by providing satisfactory employment and working conditions. Next, define the duties and responsibilities of both the employees and employees very clearly. Next, to provide for certifications of graviness arising out of employment, to provide statutory holiness and importance to the standing orders. Main features of the Act for 1946. First feature is standing orders cover all matters satisfied in the Statute of and the Act. Next, these are approved by the proper authority. Third, all the terms and conditions of employment, executive matters relating to wage and other forms of reclamations are stated clearly under the standing orders, and for rights and duties of employees and employees are clearly defined under this act. Factory Act 1948. The Factory Act 1948 came into the existence on 1st April 1949. The Factories Act is the principal legislation which regulates the health, safety, and welfare of workers and protects the children and women working in the factories. The word factory means any premise where 10 or more workers and working and the manufacturing process is carried out with the aid of power. Second, any premise where 20 or more workers are working and a manufacturing process is carried out without aid of power. Capability. The act applies to whole of India, but mines and railway workers are not including as they are covered by separate acts. Provision regarding the health of workers, sanitations of cleanness, proper temperature and ventilations, dumping of waste and effluents, drinking water, lighting, dust and fumes, overcapacity of workers, latrines and urines, provisions regarding the safety of workers, framing around machinery, working near machinery in motions, employment of young persons on dangerous machines, elevators and lifts, lifting machines, chains, ropes and lifting tracker, protections of eyes, protections against dangerous burns and safety offices, provision regarding the welfare of workers, washing facilities for storing and drying cloth, facilities for sitting, first aided appliance, cafeteria, kitchens, shelters, restrooms, and lunches, welfare offices, working hours of audits, waking hours, daily hours, intervals for rest, extra wage for overtime, working hours of women, weekly hours, daily hours, timings. Timings can only work between 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Working hours of children. No children shall be permitted to work in a factory for more than 4.5 hours in a day. During night, they should get weekly holiday. Female children workers can only work between 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. The Industrial Disputes Act 1947. The Industrial Disputes Act 1947 extend to whole of India. It claim it came into operations of the first day of April 1947. This act replaced the Trade Disputes Act of 1929. The Trade Disputes Act imposed certain restraints on the right of strike and the lockout in public university service. The main objective of this act is no ensure social justice to both the employees and employers and advance the progress of industry by bringing about the extent of the harmony of Korean relationship between the parties so as to bringing about industrial peace. Uh, the Industrial Disputes Act 1947 provides for the investigations and settlements of the industrial disputes in an industrial establishment relating to lockners, layoffs, retrenchments, etc. First, industrial undertaking includes an undertaking carrying and business, trade, manufacture, etc. First, the Act lays down the conditions that shall be complied by before the terminations, retrenchment of layoff, a workman who has been in continuous service for not less than 1 year under an employer The workman shall be given 1 month's notice in writing, indicating the regions of enrichment and the period of the notice that has expired or the workman has been paid. It you of such notice wage for the period of the notice. The workman shall also be paid compensations equivalent or to 15 days average pay for each completed year of continuous service. Next, collective bargaining concept and definitions. Collective bargaining concept is the most dynamic area of industrial relations, often described as the heart of industrial relations. Collective bargaining involves discussion and negotiations between two groups as to the terms and conditions of employment. It is called collective because both the employer and the employee act as a group rather than individuals. It is known as bargaining because the methods of reaching an agreements involves proposals and counter proposals and other negotiations. In other words, it is the process in which the representatives of the employees and of the employees meet at attempt to negativeness a contract governing the employees union relationship. Collective bargaining refers to a process by which employers on the one hand and representatives of employees on the other attempts to arrive at the agreements governing the conditions under which employees with contributes and be compensated for their service. Next, features of collective bargaining. First feature is group actions. It is a group process where one group represent employees and other groups represent employees. The representatives of both the parties participants in it. Employers are represented by its delegates and employees are features of groups. It is a group process where one groups represent employees and another groups represent employees. The representatives of the both the parties participate in it. Employees are represented by its delegates and employees are represented by their trade unions. Both the groups sit together to discuss the terms of employment. Representations by union leaders. Unions typical represents employees when there is a need for collective bargaining. Leaders bringing complaints, needs, or wants of the employees to the attentions of the employers. The transmit response from the employees back to the employees and assist putting together a draft called a collective bargaining agreements. The next point features collective bargaining, continuous process. Third, bipartite process, and fifth, the dynamic process, and sixth, flexible. Six features of collective bargains. Objective of collective bargaining: promote industrial democracy. First objective, collective bargaining. Second objective, improve employees relationship. Settle disputes. Award third party interventions. Next, bargaining issue. First is wage and incentives. Next, working conditions. Third, health and security. Fourth, impact of technology and produce real change on employees. Fifth, regulations and parties pertaining to employees. Six, employees benefits grievance handling. Types of bargaining. Conjunctions bargaining. It is also known as distributive bargaining. It is the most common type of bargaining and involves zero sum negotiations. In this type of bargaining, the employees and employees trying to maximum their gains. They try to settle employees economics issue like wage, bonus, benefits, etc. For example, continuous negotiations for the maximum wage, and the management wants to keep its minimum while getting things done though workers. Uh, Cooperative bargaining. The cooperative bargaining, both parties focus on survival in the difficult situations too, regions, and are willing to negotiate the terms of employment in a flexible way. Employees may accept reductions in salaries in the returns for a job security. Bargaining. Productivity bargaining in this method workers wage and incentives depends on the level of productivity to the workers. Productivity bargaining in the method workers wage and incentive depends on the level of productivity the workers is able to attain. In this, management offers workers a rise in wage in response to alternations in workers working practice for a rise in productivity. For composite bargaining, in composite bargaining methods, labor bargainings for the rise in wage as usual, but also demand equality. It matters relation to the norms, employees level manning standards. Next steps in collective bargaining, acknowledge means and identify the problem. Second, collective of facts and data. Third, selections of representatives. Fourth, starting the negotiation process. Fifth, bargaining strategy. Six, reaching to an agreements. And fourth, formalization and enforcing the agreements. Collective bargaining in India. The collective bargaining in India over last 1 decade or so has undergone a gradual but defined change. Nowadays, collective bargaining is not only limited to traditional issue like wage, dearness, allowance, bonus, upon employment conditions. Uh, Following reasons, uh, collective bargaining in India. First is now the working class is well educated and aware about the industrial role. Under such circumstances, when the workers' economics needs are fully satisfied, the union representatives handling brings such issue in the bargaining sessions. Next, the employees are willing to concede the demands of higher benefits like French benefits and welfare amities, as most of them do not call for direct or indirect financial involvement with the entry of more international companies in India. A few common items that have become the part of collective bargaining in India nowadays are as follows. First is house rent allowance. Second, leave travel conditions and educational allowance. In this chapter, main point is in revenue is means there are various factors of views or and employees and training dissatisfied. In topic, main key terms is employees revenues. teachments, grips, box, exit interviews, open door policy, redressal industrial disputes, collective bargaining, and process. In this chapter, main question is what is meant by bargaining? What are the provisions relating the safety of workers and working hours for the children, the industrial employees? Second, what are the various bargaining issues? What is the steps in collective bargaining? Okay. नेक्स्ट टॉपिक आपला टीचिंग झालं याचं तर फक्त एक्झामच्या दृष्टीने ओव्हरलुक आपण चॅप्टर करूया. ह्युमन रिसोर्स अकाउंटिंग ऑडिट अँड ह्युमन रिसोर्स इन्फॉर्मेशन सिस्टीम ह्या चॅप्टर मध्ये आपण स्टडी केलं होतं की कन्सेप्ट ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह अँड ऍडव्हान्टेज ऑफ ह्युमन रिसोर्स अकाउंटिंग, नेक्स्ट व्हेरियस मेथड्स ऑफ ह्युमन रिसोर्स अकाउंटिंग, त्याच्यानंतर concept and objective of human resource audit, the process of human resource audit, understanding the concept, objective and advantage of human resource information system, identify essential features of good human resource information system, identify the limitations of human resource information system, discuss the significance of HRIS and in today's corporate words. तर 10 पासून तुमची त्या ठिकाणी एक्झाम स्टार्ट आहे. तुमची एक्झाम ऑनलाईन जी आहे तुम्हाला टाइम टेबल त्या ठिकाणी मिळालं तर याच्यामध्ये तुमची ऑनलाईन MCQ टाइप क्वेश्चन पेपर त्या ठिकाणी होणार. 60 क्वेश्चन तुम्हाला त्या ठिकाणी विचारतील, त्यातले 50 चे जे आहेत ते मार्क्स तुम्हाला कन्वर्ट केले जातील. तो हा पेपर हे करत असताना स्टडी करत असताना याच्यातले ज्या मेन कन्सेप्ट डेफिनेशन्स किंवा कन्सेप्ट ज्या आहेत त्या क्लिअर करायच्या. त्याच्यानंतर कुठले ऍक्ट असेल, सपोज ग्रॅव्हिनेस ऍक्ट तुमचा 1946 आहे तर 1946 चा ऍक्ट जो आहे तो ग्रॅव्हिनेस ऍक्ट म्हणून होता. तर तो त्या ठिकाणी नेक्स्ट किंवा एखादी कन्सेप्ट कुठल्या त्या ठिकाणी फिलॉसॉफरने त्या ठिकाणी मांडली अशा पॉईंट त्या ठिकाणी लक्ष ठेवायचे. त्याच्यानंतर आपण नेक्स्ट पिरियडला तर हे पाहिलंच होतं 11 चॅप्टर मध्ये इंटरनल ह्युमन रिसोर्स मॅनेजमेंट. तर याच्यामध्ये आपण पाहिलं होतं ग्लोबलायझेशन इन 21st century, त्याच्यानंतर बेनिफिट्स ऑफ ग्लोबलायझेशन, थ्रीट्स फॉर ग्लोबलायझेशन, कन्सेप्ट्स ऑफ इंटरनॅशनल ह्युमन रिसोर्स मॅनेजमेंट, a difference between global HRM and domestic HRMs, external factors impacting IHRM, HR plan, what is meant by HR planning, international requirements and sections policy, expected recruitments, perform surprises of an experience, reparchments हा पार्ट आपण इंटरनॅशनल ह्युमन रिसोर्स मॅनेजमेंट मध्ये त्या ठिकाणी आपण हे पाहिला होता. त्याच्यानंतर 8 जो चॅप्टर जो आहे त्या 8 चॅप्टर मध्ये आपण डिसिप्लिन, एम्प्लॉईज डिसिप्लिन्स पार्ट बघितलाय. तर याच्यामध्ये कन्सेप्ट अँड डेफिनेशन्स, डिसिप्लिनचे टाइप्स ऑफ डिसिप्लिन्स. त्याच्यानंतर नेक्स्ट टाइप्स ऑफ डिसिप्लिनचे 2 टाइप्स आहे, पॉझिटिव्ह डिसिप्लिन्स अँड निगेटिव्ह डिसिप्लिन्स. कॉजेस ऑफ इन डिसिप्लिन्स, डिसिप्लिनरी ऍक्शन्स असेल किंवा टाइप्स इन disciplinary actions, features of an effective disciplinary actions. The discipline means an orderly behavior to be following to the individual team members and groups within an organization to achieve the unlimited objectives. We can define discipline as a state that promotes individual and groups to study the rules, regulations, and producer which are supposed to be necessary for the successfully functioning of an organizations. Disciplines means a discipline is the force that promotes individuals and groups to observe rules, regulations, standards of procedure necessary for an organization. In this chapter, main objective understand the concept of employees disciplines, types of describe the types of disciplines, explain the factors that cause and lead to indiscipline in the workplace, explain the steps involved in taking disciplinary actions, or describe the features of an effective disciplinary actions. Next, seven chapter is compassions management. याच्यामध्ये आपण objective of compassions planning, factors influencing compassions planning, types of compassions, characteristics of describable wage plan, methods of wage payments, wage theories, wage structures, and wage policy, status regulations of wage, incentive plans, individual-based incentive plans, cell group of team-based incentive plans, and organization-wide incentive plans. त्याच्यानंतर बोनस, नीड्स ऑफ फ्रेंच बेनिट्स, हा पार्ट आपण 7 चॅप्टर मध्ये त्या ठिकाणी स्टडी केला होता. 6 चॅप्टर जो आहे तर 6 चॅप्टर मध्ये परफॉर्मन्स अप्रायझल हा पार्ट होता. परफॉर्मन्स अप्रायझल ची डेफिनेशन किंवा कन्सेप्ट आपण पाहिली होती. त्याच्यानंतर जॉब इक्विलेशन्स वर्सेस परफॉर्मन्स अप्रायझल, त्याच्यानंतर ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह ऑफ परफॉर्मन्स अप्रायझल, बेसिस ऑफ परफॉर्मन्स अप्रायझल, परफॉर्मन्स अप्रायझल प्रोसेस, प्रॉब्लेम इन परफॉर्मन्स अप्रायझल, methods of techniques and performance appraisal, process of management by objective, importance of management of objective, limitations of management by objective, benefits of 360 degrees performance appraisal, introductions of 360 degrees performance appraisal हे पाहिलं होतं. याच्यामध्ये परफॉर्मन्स अप्रायझलची कन्सेप्ट, डेफिनेशन्स, त्याच्यानंतर बेसिक्स परफॉर्मन्स अप्रायझल, मेथड्स अँड टेक्निक्स अप्रायझलचा आपण स्टडी केला होता. त्याच्यानंतर 5 चॅप्टर मध्ये आपण मोटिवेशन्स इन ऍक्शन्स हा भाग बघितला. याच्यामध्ये मोटिवेशनची कन्सेप्ट, डेफिनेशन्स, इम्पॉर्टन्स अँड बेनिफिट्स ऑफ मोटिवेशन्स, फीचर्स अँड कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ मोटिवेशन्स, त्याच्यानंतर टूल्स ऑफ मोटिवेशन्स. टूल्स ऑफ मोटिवेशन मध्ये जॉब क्रिटिक्स मॉडेल, अल्टरनेटिव्ह वर्क अरेंजमेंट, एम्पॉवरमेंट, पार्टिसिपेटिव्ह मॅनेजमेंट, क्वालिटी ऑफ वर्क लाईफ, मोटिवेशन दो व्हेरिएबल पे फॉर प्रोग्राम्स, मेंटोरिंग हा पार्ट आपण त्या ठिकाणी पाहिला होता. नेक्स्ट त्या ठिकाणी 4th चॅप्टर मध्ये जो होता तर तुमचा 4th चॅप्टर होता ह्युमन रिसोर्स ट्रेनिंग अँड डेव्हलपमेंट. तर ह्युमन रिसोर्स ट्रेनिंग अँड डेव्हलपमेंट मध्ये आपण पाहिलं होतं की डिफरन्स बिटवीन ट्रेनिंग अँड डेव्हलपमेंट. ट्रेनिंग अँड डेव्हलपमेंट मधला डिफरन्स त्या ठिकाणी आपण पाहिला होता. त्याच्यानंतर नीड्स ऑफ ट्रेनिंग, इम्पॉर्टन्स ऑफ ट्रेनिंग, ट्रेनिंग प्रोसेस कशी चालते, त्याच्यानंतर इव्हल्युशन्स ऑफ ट्रेनिंग, टाइप्स ऑफ ट्रेनिंग, सिलेक्शन्स ऑफ ट्रेनिंग मॉडेल, इंट्रोडक्शन्स ऑफ एक्झिक्युटिव्ह डेव्हलपमेंट, त्याच्यानंतर मेथड्स ऑफ एक्झिक्युटिव्ह डेव्हलपमेंट हा पार्ट आपण ह्युमन रिसोर्स डेव्हलपमेंट मध्ये त्या ठिकाणी पाहिला होता. 3rd चॅप्टर जो आहे तो टॅलेंट इक्वेशन्स होता. त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्ही टॅलेंट जे आहे इक्वेशन्सची डेफिनेशन्स, रिक्वायरमेंट प्रोसेस कशी चालते, सोर्स ऑफ रिक्वायरमेंट्स कशा ठिकाणी, इंट्रोडक्शन्स टू सिलेक्शन्स, त्याच्यानंतर ओरिएंटेशन्स अँड इंडक्शन प्रोसेस त्या ठिकाणी आपण बघितलं होतं. त्याच्यानंतर सेकंड चॅप्टर होता ह्युमन रिसोर्स प्लॅनिंग. ह्युमन रिसोर्स प्लॅनिंग डेफिनेशन्स पाहिली होता. त्याच्यानंतर रिक्वायरमेंट्स ऑफ इफेक्टिव्ह HRP चा पाठ बघितला होता. त्याच्यामध्ये आपण कन्सेप्ट ऑफ ह्युमन रिसोर्स प्लॅनिंग, डिस्क्राइब द व्हेरियस ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह ऑफ ह्युमन रिसोर्स प्लॅनिंग, explain in details the various steps involved in the human resource planning process, illustrate the various human resource demand forecasting techniques. Third, explain the concept of job evaluations. And next, describe the job evaluation process. Explain the concept of human resource information system and discuss its benefits. Human resource planning shape that can objective forecasting future requirements of HR, realizing organization goals, effective management of change, effective utilizations of human resource. And first टॉपिक जे आहे त्याच्यामध्ये आपण फर्स्ट चॅप्टर मध्ये इंट्रोडक्शन्स टू ह्युमन रिसोर्स मॅनेजमेंट, त्याच्यामध्ये ह्युमन रिसोर्स मॅनेजमेंटची डेफिनेशन कन्सेप्ट जी आहे तर ही पाहिली होती. ह्युमन रिसोर्स मॅनेजमेंट मीन्स टेक our 20 best people away, and I will tell you that Microsoft Words would become an तर याच्यामध्ये नेचर ऑफ HRM, स्कोप ऑफ HRM, ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह ऑफ HRM, फंक्शन्स ऑफ HRM, स्ट्रॅटेजी ह्युमन रिसोर्स मॅनेजमेंट, त्याच्यानंतर स्किल प्रोव्हिजन ऑफ HRM मॅनेजर हा पाठ आपण त्या ठिकाणी पाहिला होता. तर याच्यामध्ये ह्युमन रिसोर्स मॅनेजमेंट इज एक्सटेन्शन्स ऑफ इट्स पॅरेंट डिसिप्लिन्स पर्सनल मॅनेजमेंट. ह्युमन रिसोर्स मॅनेजमेंट refers to managing the organization's workforce in an effective and efficient manner. It aims at reducing, developing, and maintaining the human resource to achieve organization goals, keeping in mind the satisfactions of each individual. Human resource in a multi or disciplinary functions presence at all the layers of the organizations. In this chapter, main objective is the concept of human resource management, identify the nature and scope of HRM. Next, understand objective and importance of HRM. Describe the skill set requires to become an efficient HRM manager. हा पाठ आपण त्या ठिकाणी अभ्यासला होता. तर हे सगळे तुमचे जवळजवळ 11 टॉपिक्स त्या ठिकाणी मॅनेजमेंट त्या ठिकाणी आहे. तर ते ऑल टॉपिक इस एक्झाम्पल त्या ठिकाणी विचारले जाते MCQ टाईप. त्याच्यामुळे त्या ठिकाणी स्टडी करा. सगळ्यांना बेस्ट ऑफ लक. थँक्यू व्हेरी मच.